I am going to invite Beth Caldwell from the British Council, who heads blended learning and quality assurance. Beth has come all the way from Chennai to talk to you all, so please give her a round of applause.
Hi everyone, lovely to see so many of you. As Arjun mentioned, my name is Beth Caldwell, and I'm the head of blended learning and quality standards for India at the British Council. And I'm here with a very special guest to talk to you about quality assurance in action today. Before I introduce our guest, although I think you probably guessed who it is, let me tell you more about our quality standards program. So our English Language Quality Standards Program, or ELQSP for short, combines quality resources with realistic but exacting quality standards. And the aim of the program is to have a positive impact on the private sector's ability to deliver high quality English language education and therefore to produce better learner outcomes. So we have many strands to the quality standards program. The key thing to understand is that we have a quality standards framework, and that describes what quality is in relation to 10 standards at 5 developmental stages. So the standards relate to program design, teachers and teaching, resources for learning, and management of a school's English language program of study. And then we have the developmental levels, which describe the stages that a school is at in relation to each standard. We provide consultancy services on increasing quality standards in relation to this framework. And we also have a membership scheme. So schools who want to go on to join our membership scheme are also subject to a quality assurance inspection service, and they're assessed against the framework. And in the framework, it also mentioned what kind of evidence we use to assess. So we use documentary evidence, focus group evidence, and observation. If a school is found to have achieved level 4 or above across these standards, they're then eligible to become members of our English Language Quality Standards membership network. So since our launch, we've welcomed 5 schools to the membership program. And today, I'm very pleased to introduce you to someone from one of those schools, Mr. Ashok Pandey, who's the principal of Alcon International School. He's also the chairman of the National Progressive Schools Conference. Alcon International School was one of the first schools to join our membership network, and he's here to talk to you today about what happened when his school put the quality standards framework into action in their classrooms, and to share the experiences, the impact, and the learning that was involved in putting quality assurance into action. So please welcome to the stage, Mr. Ashok Pandey.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Arjun. First of all, my congratulations to all of you. You are all going to receive, to the best of my knowledge, ISA in International School Award, which in itself is one of the true hallmarks of quality that I'm going to talk about. So I must begin with my real compliments to you and my real congratulations to you. Beth has given a glimpse of this particular program, Quality Standards Framework for English Language Teaching. And as you can see, I'll begin with a very simple understanding of quality. Quality is understood by many people in many different ways, many different contexts, many different layers of it. So I think the best way that I thought I could begin any talk about quality is that if we have the ability to challenge the legitimacy which we have legitimized in one way or the other, the sterile, unimaginative, unresponsive teaching in our classrooms, and the primacy of the textbook-based teaching is all about teaching in the classrooms. And if we can challenge it in one way or the other, probably we'll be taking our first step towards quality. And quality, you all must have heard about Sustainable Developmental Goals, a set of 17 goals formulated by the United Nations on 25th of September 2015. And out of these 17 goals, about 9 or 10 of them revolve around education, and some of them indirectly around education. And one of them specifically focuses on quality education, and that is goal number 4. So there is an international focus also on quality education. Out of the 193 countries who are signatories to it, India is one of them. So I thought that I'll just highlight this point also at this stage. Now, I very strongly believe in the entire structure of quality standards framework that Beth talked about is based on 4 premises, and those premises are layers of learning. So what are the layers of learning? If we have a very quick peep into our classrooms, you will agree that our classrooms are very, very diverse, and the expectations of learners are also different. And that is where the concept of differentiation comes, so that our teaching becomes so personalized in a way that every child has a differential learning experience. So that is what learning is. And what we have been doing so far is that the same teachers, same group of students, same curriculum for same period of time, same assessment, and on a given set of norms, we say that you are passed and you are failed. I think it is grossly unjust with our children. And that is where we put the layers of learning in the classrooms is something that we must introspect about. Layers of evidence. How do we collect evidence about what we are doing in our classrooms? So are we getting enough feedback from our own students? Do we talk to their parents? Are we putting some evidence which suggests that what kind of project-based learning we have done, what kind of experiential learning we have done, what kind of hands-on we have done, what kinds of the construction of knowledge has taken place among the students and teachers. These are the things which are covered in the layers of evidence. Of course, layers of stakeholders. We all know, we very vehemently propose that students, teachers, parents, management, everybody is a stakeholder, but when we design our curriculum and when we propose a particular frame of our teaching learning process, how much role teachers, students and parents together put into that curriculum designing, that will determine what are the layers of stakeholders. And layers of leadership. This is a very, very important premise of quality standards framework, that any program of action, anything that we design, the first step for that is that everybody in the team should be aware of it. So that is the first layer of what we call leadership, which I'll tell you what exactly about. The second, of course, is everybody should understand what it is. The third is everybody should become part of the process designing, and that we call, that is the engagement with that process. And the fourth is that we start implementing it, and that is the integration of it. And once we have reached all these 4 stages, then probably we'll be in a position where others would also like to come and take some lessons from us, emulate, and we can talk about it, we can develop expertise in this, and that actually, the 5th level, is what we call as the leadership stage. And in every program, all of you have done something, and you will recall with your own experiences that in anything where you have achieved some level of expertise, the expertise did not come about on the first day. It began a few days, or few months, or few years before. So what was that day of beginning? And that day of the beginning was awareness. And then you moved to understanding of it. Then you moved to engaging with that particular aspect. And then you integrated it across the school, across the discipline, and through a very, very consistent period of time. And then you came about at the level of leadership. So these are the layers that I thought that I'll talk to you about. But how do you reach at this? And for that, we have to ask some very frank some very hard, uncomfortable questions to ourselves. And what are those questions? What is your function and purpose as a teacher, as a school, as a principal, or in whatever roles you are at this point of time? The second important question is, what is your uniqueness? What is your unique feature? Have you taken feedback from your parents and children as to what are their expectations from their school? What are your exemplary programs? Which programs an outsider or a stranger would come and ask you that, could I know a little more about you from? What is your larger vision? And are you preparing your children for life, or you're just preparing them from one examination to the other? So these set of questions will give us some guidance as to what next steps that we have to take. And if we are ready with answers to these questions, we have understood what are the different layers, we have understood that we have to integrate quality into our programs, then we come that what will be those parameters of standards on which we will evaluate ourselves, on which we will seek feedback, on which we will do introspection, and on which we will take action for the larger benefit of the learners. And those parameters are actually 10 standards, which in this quality standard framework you will know. But I have just squeezed it a bit, and I have put 2 or 3 of them together because they are of like nature. So first, of course, is programs of study, resources and materials, teacher performance, teacher development, and teacher competence, very, very important portfolio of standards, assessment and feedback, class size, layout, and other learning spaces which are available to the children on the campus. What is the role of management and leadership? And what do you say in your brochures and what you actually deliver in your classrooms? That matching of the two is also one of the very, very important standards. So these are 6 standards which I have shown here. This will actually be broken down to 10. And on all these 10 standards, so say for example, if I ask you a question that how do you assess the teacher performance? So teacher performance, what are the evidences? So how do you collect evidence? So one evidence is that you go and observe in the classroom. Another evidence is the teacher herself tells that, look, this that we have done. And the third one is that you have a focus group discussion with the students and with their parents, and maybe with the other colleagues also. And that evidence will suggest to you as to what exactly has happened. And when you put all the 3 evidences, observation, actual observation, evidence produced, and focus group discussion, and the kind of alignment that you find there will decide at what level of achievement one is on the standard of teacher performance. So I've just given you a glimpse of that. And once we do it, we will start positioning our schools. All of us want to position our schools. All of us want to gain reputation, branding for our schools. And that will be the first steps in quality, as I said. And therefore, we will be able to project that where our services stand in relation to others. Everybody is in the same service mode, and therefore, how are we different in comparison to what others are doing? Where do you rank in your beneficiary's mind in relation to others? If a parent has to make a choice of schools, how will that parent make that choice? So they will find that if there are 4 service providers, what kind of relationship that they connect with school A, B, C, and D, and what are the unique features of A, B, C, and D will determine as to where do you stand in terms of positioning and why a parent should come to you. Third is, good positioning makes your services unique and seen as offering a distinct benefit. It offers flexibility, innovation, edge over others, and leadership to the organization, and fulfilling the promises made. This is very, very important, and this is one of the very important standards in QSF, which I have said a couple of times before, that many a times we are tempted to tell something that we do this, which is written in our brochures, glossy brochures, very well-designed websites with nice photographs, but actually we are delivering that promise or we are delivering what we have written or not is something which actually decides the quality of a school. Once you get your ISA award, ladies and gentlemen, this is the kite mark that you'll get, and you'll be proudly, showing it on your websites, on your brochures, on your envelopes, on your letter pads, within certain restrictions that I'm sure British Council will let you know. This is the kite mark that we in our school are projecting for the last 6 years, because we have done ISA twice, and if everything goes well, I will be sitting like you there to receive my 3rd ISA award, maybe in next 2 to 3 months' time. But if you join the QSF, you will also get something, and that will look like this. British Council English Language Quality Standards Membership Network, member unit until September 2017. This is our own mark, and we are entitled to use it till 2017 because we have achieved those quality standards as per the formulations of the British Council. So what all we have done, I'll tell you in short. So QSF at Elcon, that's the name of my school. One of the salient features of our quality standards program as identified by the British Council is that our continuous professional development program of the teachers have been done very well. And out of the 15 teachers that we have in our school teaching English, CCELT, many of you would know it, Certificate in Secondary English Language Teaching. 4 of them have done that. 16 of them have done the same certificate for primary school English language teaching. CELTA is another very, very important certification in English language teaching for the people from other languages. That is 2. Coursera is an online program, MOOC platform available, and 3 of our teachers have done online program in English language teaching. Aptis test, which my previous speaker was talking about, 10 of them have already taken Aptis test. Microsoft certification, all of them, and online referencing, which means all of them know how to use online resources, how to access online resources, which resources are suitable to which group of children, how to take feedback of their own curriculum, program, and assessment through online sites available. They are all hands-on. So this is in short about the CPD. Other than this, when you talk to any of those 15 teachers as to what are the takeaways from this quality standards framework that they have implemented, and you will find across the teachers from primary to the senior school, they will say that one thing that we did not do very well before was how to write very nicely as to what is the objective of my teaching. So earlier also we were writing our objectives, but they were very vague and they were very non-committal. But now we write exactly what is the objective. It is very specific, it is achievable, it is measurable, and it gives us an incentive to write objectives and then do our teaching in a particular fashion and achieve those objectives and prove that we have achieved those objectives with the kind of evidences which are permissible, and all of them are able to do that. So this is the story in short. Of course, it is a very long story. We have all worked very hard for months together, and therefore to tell everything in just 2 or 3 minutes will be a gross injustice to my teachers and students. And therefore, I will very quickly conclude the whole thing, that all institutions go through cycles of transition to new developmental purpose and direction and take charge of their own destiny. Only through self-determination you can extend your arc of influence and leadership. And quality standards framework is a very, very reliable, profound friend which can give us some guidance so that at least in the English language, we are able to set those standards and we are able to achieve those standards. And one of the greatest advantages of QSF that we have achieved, and we have shared it with British Council, that most of the principles of curriculum design, most of the principles of CPD, most of the principles of assessment, all those things are equally applicable to other subjects also. So if you do it in one subject, you can replicate at least 90% of those things in other subjects, and therefore, it will be a huge value for money, if I can use that word, that you do it in the English language, and then you implement it in other subjects also, and then you start implementing quality across the school. So that is something, I don't know, Beth will take it positively or negatively, but this is a truth, and I thought that I will certainly share it with you. Thank you very much.